Question 10. Diagram shows a rectangle, and in that rectangle we've been given the base is 2x minus 4, and we've been given the height as 3x plus 2. We're told that the area of this rectangle is A, and we're being told that A is less than or equal to 3x plus 27. The question asks you to find the possible values for x. Now, at this point in time, we don't have an inequality to solve because we don't know what A is, but A is the area of a rectangle, and we certainly know how to figure that out. So the area of a rectangle is base times height, which, keeping this color-coded, we're going to have a base and a height multiplied together. Our base and our height in this question are 2x minus 4 and 3x plus 2. The natural thing to do here right now would be to expand those brackets. So if we do that, we end up with 6x squared plus 4x minus 12x minus 8. And then that simplifies to give us a 6x squared minus 8x minus 8. So that is our area. Bad choice of highlighting there. That is our area, and the question here is telling us that our area is less than 3x plus 27, which means I stick a less than 3x plus 27 here. And that's where we're going to pick up from. This inequality here is what we're going to continue and solve. And we have a quadratic here, so in order to solve a quadratic inequality, first thing I'm going to do is make everything on the same side, so we end up with a 0. Take away 3x from both sides and take away 27 from both sides. And that is going to give us a 6x squared minus 11x minus 35. So when you have a quadratic inequality, first thing you want to do is make it equal to 0. You're going to solve for the equation, and then we're going to look at what the graph is like. This here does factorize into double brackets, so I'm going to take the time to actually do that now. But of course, if you wanted to use the quadratic formula, it will work. It's just in the long run, this is a skill that you want to make sure that you're sharp at. And if you're not, then anyone that wants to do A level, you're going to find a little bit of difficulty if you have to keep using the formula every time. Although I do understand, because it's a large number here, if you're using the formula, I get it. 9 doesn't work. 10 gives us a minus 21. There it is. So 10 and minus 21 are the two numbers that are going to combine to make minus 11. So we have a plus 10. I'm going to write the negative first. Negative 21x plus 10x. We have a 6x squared here. We have a 35 there. Highest common factor of u2 is 3x, giving us a 2x minus 7. That then is going to be the highest common factor of u2. Draw a line down the middle, which means you're going to have a plus 5 needs to go on the outside, giving us 3x plus 5 in one bracket, 2x minus 7 in the other bracket. Now I've kind of run out of room here. I'm just going to bring it up. 2x minus 7, 3x plus 5 equals 0. We solve each one separately, setting them equal to 0, and then rearranging. So we're going to end up with a 7 over 2, and we're going to end up with a negative 5/3. Now that's the solutions to the equation, which I'm just going to highlight in yellow now. Most of the marks for this question are found at this point, but then we have to actually consider, well, we don't have an equation, we have an inequality. So how do we know which way the greater and less thans are going to go in our answer? Well, in order to do that, what you should do is this here, or it doesn't matter if you go there or here. Just do a quick sketch of whether or not that is a U shape or an N shape. Because that's a positive x squared, that is going to be a U shape. Us solving for equals 0 here is basically finding out where this U shape crosses the x-axis, which gives us these two answers here. So minus 5/3 being the smaller one, and 7 over 2 being the bigger one, like so. And then we're asking, where is the graph less than 0? Where is the graph below 0? Which means we're interested in this part of the curve, which means we're interested in this part of the x answers, which will make us right of this number, or bigger than this number, and left of this number, or smaller, or in other words, in between. So our inequality answer at this point would look like the following. We'd have minus 5/3 as the smallest thing, which is less than x, which is less than 7 over 2. Now just again, appreciation in terms of decimals, we have a 1.6 recurring is less than x is less than a 3.5. And if this question didn't have a real life context, that would be our answer. However, it does have a real life context. X involves lengths here. So straight away your x value can't be negative. So some of you might think, okay, well I just make x bigger than 0. And that would be a really good idea. If you've even managed to write that as your answer first time, that makes a lot of sense. You have an understanding about the fact that lengths can't be negative. However, that's not enough because there's another twist here. Not only can x not be negative, but there's also other values that it can't be. Because if we look at this, that length has to be bigger than 0. Otherwise you have no rectangle. And if you look at the rearrangement of this, you end up with x having to be bigger than 2. The other one's not a problem because when we rearrange this, you end up with x having to be bigger than negative 2/3, which isn't a problem because we already knew that x needed to be bigger than 2/3 because it needed to be bigger than 5/3. So this part doesn't really contribute to the whole what x is not allowed to be, but the one here does, because the fact is that this length here cannot be 0 or less. Therefore, the only way that that can happen is if x is bigger than 2. So your final answer here is not 0 less than x, it's 2 less than x, less than 3.5. So the only way that this question works is if x is a value between 2 and 3.5. Done.